Hello and a very warm welcome to the Values Workshop. We have a brand new podcast with Khanjan, who is residing in the UK. Uh, Welcome, Khanjan, to the show. Thank you for taking the time.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Can you introduce yourself a bit, please?
So, my name's Kanjan Darad. I come from an island named Seychelles in the east of Africa. I'm Gujarati and I've been living in a city called Coventry in the UK where I currently work as a construction manager and a quantity surveyor.
Okay, thank you. The topic I've been thinking about in the youth series. So I've been doing this youth series, which is alphabetical in order, and the letter that we have was N, and I've been thinking for quite a few days because I was finding it difficult to find enough topics that engaged me. And
Yeah.
the idea that came up was very interesting. I I just googled something and I was walking through some information, and then I realized that there is this deluge of being in touch with each other. All of us are constantly available, and that gave me an idea that how about calling this no off switch.
Okay.
And so first thing first, how do you react to something like this? Do you think we are available too much of the time to too many people because of technology today?
I mean, obviously, technology has its perks and cons. Nowadays, we're 100 miles away from each other, and you don't feel that you need the person being next to you. You're connected to your parents, your grandparents, family, friends, whenever you want, any time of the day. It's just a call, it's just a missed call away. So, as obviously, in terms of influencing, content creating, that all is too much out there, I feel now, where people are, you see them happy, but you never know if they're happy or not. And it's just both sides to this is every profession, to be fair. You're working in the construction industry, everyone thinks you're happy, you're earning well, but that's not even the case in most of the scenarios.
Hmm. Okay, since you opened the topic in that direction, uh, why would we want to show that we are happy when we are not? What do you think prompts that kind of attitude?
I mean, there's a certain image on social media now where no one shows their downfall, which I personally think, why would you want to show when you're sad? You would always want to show when you're doing something good. You would never post a picture of you crying, for example. You would only want to, and you would want to make a positive impact on people. You would want to show that this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm not doing, and hopefully for people to influence by you.
Okay, do you think it doesn't run deeper than that?
In terms of if a person is sad or not.
Yeah, because when I speak to some friends when we are not online, so even if this was the chat that we were having off camera or
Hmm.
even on camera and it was not being recorded, I would find that we are far more amiable to opening up to our vulnerabilities than we are on camera per se. So there is a certain sense of hesitancy about being judged, perhaps. Do you think that also influences our decision to not post
No,
anything negative?
of course, for sure. I mean, now in the generation younger to me, the 18-year-olds now, they're always this sense where they want to look better, they should have these certain brands, they should not be less than anyone, they should only have high-end brands. It's just a certain image they put up of themselves, which then they have to, even if it loses out on pocket, they'll still keep themselves intact in that position and that image of themselves, which down the line, if if they didn't have the financing to do so or anything of that sort, it just becomes a threat to them.
Have you had any such pressure at any point of time? Not necessarily the luxury brands thing, but anything that because of your online persona or even within friends. I'm saying persona is a strong term here. But say you're six, seven friends talking to each other on camera at that point of time, and uh, they are not very deep or old friends or school friends kind of thing. Do you think there is a kind of pressure that comes up?
I mean, it may to personally, I have not had that feeling yet. I'm just who I am on camera, off camera, in person, in text, in messaging. I haven't had that feeling yet, but I do know of a few people who think that if they're online, they'll need to reply. If they're on call, they'll need to look a certain way. There are a lot of people out there like that.
Okay, what do you think makes them so particular about it? Like once a while you can let down your guard. Uh,
Yeah.
so how do you? What is their self perception that makes them go down that route?
Um, as I've said that they look up to themselves in a certain way that they have to maintain this character which they've been from day one, where they for I'll just bring a beauty character to it. Like for example, girls will think that they'll always need makeup on to look in a certain way, and that I feel are human beings as well. They'll always need this certain makeup on, that they'll always need to be in that position, in that sense. Like if for example, if you're a director or something, you'll always need to be in this uptight topmost position where you can't look down on people. You need to have the answers to everything.
Okay. So do you think authenticity takes a downfall when we are dealing with each other, be it any relationship, professional or personal, if too much of these things are indulged in?
I mean, to a certain extent, it just depends on the person. I feel every person is different. That we can't just sit down and say that this person has done this because of this XYZ reason. I just think what every situation is also different. Every person comes from a different background. That every background affects that story going forward. What they feel at home, what they feel at work, what they feel with their friends. It just, I think it mentally and physically affects you. I think however you live your life.
Okay. So let me approach the same question from another angle that I was thinking of when I opened the topic. So, one of the common things that I find that all of us are too much in our phones, even when we are with each other very often, at least here in India and among a lot of my friends and friends' kids and families. This happens far too often. So, four of us will meet and we'll say, oh, let's go for lunch or something. And while we are waiting for the lunch to be served, we are all on our phones. Uh, Sometimes it's not there, but with kids it is even more common. And do you think that also is an impediment to building real time moments with people where you are able to talk about things that genuinely should be spoken about? As a human being, we are social people, but we are now far more closer to people who are not available in the immediate vicinity than those who are.
Yeah.
So
No, I
do
mean,
yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, for sure. Like, for example, someone in India who would be in touch with someone in the US, for example, where it's day and night difference, they would have a best friend who's gone there, and they're so much more closer to that person than someone right next door to them. And it just makes them so much believe that any moment they would not miss out on, because now you can just call them. For example, if you wanted to book a trip with them, it's just so much easier now to be in touch. But obviously we forget the people that are around us, and I think my generation is the last generation who will listen to their parents. After this, I don't think anything will go uphill. It's just going to be downhill with the kids and social media now, because no one wants to talk to each other anymore.
I also find that the quality of discussions that people have, uh, or maybe it was always so, are far more superficial than before because one doesn't want to get into the depth of things that might make us uncomfortable at times. Uh, even in the even in the scenario where there is no social media involved, because say I'm meeting a friend, so we would rather say, "Oh, how are you? Fine, okay, thank you. See ya, okay." So we don't really get into the depth of what are the possibilities of connection, if I were to call it that. Uh,
Yeah.
have you had any personal experiences in that kind of flavor of any relationship?
Where not being able to say what I feel in that way.
Yeah, possibly, or even they are not comfortable sharing who they are with you. Uh, so a lot of time it happens that I have had podcast guests who've been speaking to me and they've been kind of opening up on camera, and the moment we stop recording, they say a lot more provocative things the moment we've just ended the recording. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is what I wanted to bring up. And it is funny and amusing at the same time.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I would say the same thing on camera and off camera.
Yeah.
I don't. I, if I wouldn't have anyone who I have not, I'm a very open person. So I don't. If there's something I feel about you or I don't like about you, or I like about you, I'll just straight away say it on your face. I don't. I'm not one of those who will take it home and think about it over like sleeping.
Okay.
So I have not had an experience with anyone personally where I couldn't open up to them because they were this certain figure which I felt that I'm just intimidated by. But I do host events in Coventry, which I host Bollywood parties as well. This is just a side thing I do. And I do, there are people, there are a lot, it's just student parties, and there are a lot of students that come out there and come to the parties. I do feel that sometimes they think that just because I'm hosting the party, I'll be the certain character where I won't be able to give attention to them, or I won't speak to them, or I'll be very over conscious person where I'm too full of myself. But it's not the case. It's just I'm very down to earth. But it's just sometimes you're in an environment where people already think so much about you before you know them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I think that would be a perception I feel that people would think about me, but I have never had that experience with anyone.
Okay. One other question that comes up is, so as a writer, there is a little bit of background I can give you. Earlier, when we used to get jobs, the deadlines were a little more flexible in terms of days because you did your research, so you came back next week. And that as as we progressed on in terms of technology, we got used to computers. So then the deadline came down by half, and you had to deliver in 3 days. As we grew in mobile telephony, so very often they would call and say, "Let's do this by tomorrow, please." Now it's almost with ChatGPT and everything being available. Very often they land up giving very unrealistic expectations of deadlines and quality of work and challenges. Do you think that the constant uh, availability that we have due to technology also uh, puts some pressure on you vis-a-vis work?
I'm I wouldn't say for me, but there are so many colleagues I have in my office who I have not even once used ChatGPT in my life so far. But there are so many colleagues in my office who don't even write a single email by themselves anymore. They will write the whole thing, whatever they want to put out to the client, and it's just there. You don't have to do, and you don't have to use your brain. You don't have to use not even 1% of your typing skills as well. It's just all there. It's just copy paste now. And there are so many students as well I know from university just not learning anything anymore. They'll come to university, put the whole assignment on Chat GPT, and that's them. And I don't even know how these people will survive in the real world. But
Okay, that is very interesting because, okay, let me rephrase the question first. So, I meant in terms of time schedules, do people expect you to be available a lot more than before, uh, delivering on the deadlines and the schedules and the reports and whatever is it that you do? Uh, because of technology, let's do this faster. Is that a pressure on you? Because,
um No, I wouldn't know about industries, but with construction, the type of job I am on is a 9 to 5 job. But sometimes when you're doing a construction site, it goes on till 7 p.m. or 6 p.m., for example. There is no expectation, but everyone around your team will understand that if she's done this, the next day she'll start a little less in time. She can doesn't have to start at a 9 to 5 straight away. So there is the leniency, but it doesn't really involve technology as of sense. I would say in the construction industry.
Okay. Um, and now relating back to the earlier answer that you had given, uh, do you also think that there is a, besides the chat GPT usage of things, uh, do you also think there is an attention deficit that is arising because of our constant uh, availability to others who we otherwise may not have been available? So while there is a good side that, oh, I can be in touch with my friends, but suppose you and I are having a professional meeting and the friend also wants to immediately get in touch for some smaller reason, for some entertainment or some meeting, casual meeting. Uh, so they keep calling or they expect you to be available suddenly. Uh, do those things put pressure on us in terms of not being able to pay attention to what we are doing in the present moment?
Yeah, for sure. Because a person obviously who would see you, you would have left your phone down there and they would have thought you're online, but the other person wouldn't know you're doing something important. They would just be like, why aren't you replying? Why aren't you present? I needed you at this moment. No one really understands what the other person is going through because it's just on social media now. Nothing of that sense where I would say so many people who have become friends in this generation don't even know who the actual person is because they're just judging from social media now.
Yeah. How do you manage your social media? You sound sensible, so, and this is quite,
I try to be sensible. I try to be a little.
yeah, because I find that speaking about this is very good, but sometimes even I have just been scrolling or posting or liking or doing things which are a lot of waste of time because uh, they also affect my attention span over a period of time. So off late when I watch a, say, a longish movie, I want to take breaks because now I am used to quick entertainment in comparison. Earlier
Yeah,
this wasn't the case. I could read an entire book or this because I was looking forward to the story. Not that it happens very often. My
hmm,
work demands that I do quite a bit of research sometimes.
yeah,
I find it is affecting me also at some time.
yeah. Um, in terms of handling my social media, the only platform I post on is Instagram. I don't use Facebook. I haven't used Facebook as of it was when I was in my school times I used to. Instagram, it's just a matter of me. If I went on holiday, I would post a story of where I've gone, or if I've gone back home to the Seychelles to meet my parents, I've posted that. Nothing to I wouldn't post like me cleaning my room or me eating, or I wouldn't post stuff. I wouldn't call myself a influencer, but I have a private account, and it's just what if I've gone out with a few friends and we've taken a picture, I've posted that, and like just normal things.
Yeah. Does it take your time? Otherwise, when you're just surfing or doing things that we do on other social media,
I wouldn't say it takes my time. The only thing that actually takes my time is when you've taken when you've took a million pictures on a holiday and then choosing out of them which one to post where you look or you're looking at the camera. That takes time.
yeah. Um how would you describe the impact on generations following you in terms of, are you concerned as a person who will have to deal, say tomorrow if you reach a even more senior position, you have people like these you have to work with. So I'll give you an example. A friend of mine runs an IT company,
Hmm.
and he says of late there is this trend that they quit jobs without having another job. So they don't like the music that is being played in the company or some such small thing, or if they are coming late, or if they are not allowed to work from home, or any such thing, any rule that has to be implemented.
Hmm.
It is they just get up and go. Like on the
Yeah,
spot, they'll say, okay, I have just quit and I do not want to work any longer. They don't
yeah,
have a job, you know that, and they don't have any future plans about that. Now these are the kind of people you have to deal with because they are your workforce. So he
correct.
says we have this whole learning curve that we don't know how to deal with because
Yeah,
we don't come from that generation at all.
of course. I agree.
So how does somebody, you said you are the last generation would listen to their parents. So you at least understand a point of view even if you necessarily agree or not. But what about the fact that you will be a senior soon and these are the kids that will come to work for you, 18, 20. They are brilliant. Some of them are really very good. But they
Yeah,
are
don't get me
also,
wrong. Yeah, some of them are masterminds with what they do. But there is, I would say 50% of them are masterminds and 50% of them are just getting themselves through life basically.
yeah.
And
How do you
this,
deal with it? How do you, is there pressure on your generation in terms of understanding and what do you do to speak to them, make sense to them, hear them out? What happens really?
so I do feel that the generation after me now is quite rebellious. We would still, for in my case or in anyone in my age gap, I would say before leaving a job they would think if they have enough financial condition to do so, do they have the security to do so, if they're secure in a world where which is quite cruel. So the generation after me, they don't care. They're just they'll go out there. If you want to give them the job, you want to give them the job, it's your loss. They don't even consider it as their loss. So it's in one way or another, it's quite good to be this rebellious. You know what you want, but because you're not working on anyone's terms and conditions. You're working. No, the people now, I feel, just want to be their own entrepreneur. No one wants to work underneath anyone anymore.
And
I Yeah.
sorry, I have a question there. Even as an entrepreneur, so when I'm also a writer.
Hmm.
So I work with agencies, I work with direct clients.
Hmm.
We have to listen to them. There is
Of
no
course,
such
I
thing
agree.
as
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, sir. This sort of generation between ourselves, we're okay. But other people now don't listen. I'm telling you, the kids also now, like these 5 year olds, because I work for 7 schools in Coventry where I look over their construction works, and I when I go to the schools, you see the kids now. Not even 1% they'll listen to the teachers now. It, it, it's going to be hard out there.
What about, okay, there's an interesting thing since you mentioned that you go to schools. Uh, do you think uh, this ability to be in touch allows us to explore things beyond time at times? You can connect with people from any nationality, any background, and sometimes really get some good done. Obviously, there is a lot of negativity there, uh, but you'll end up talking to people. So I had this guest from Netherlands. I just chanced upon his website, and I just loved what was written. It was about Buddhism, and I'm kind of a practitioner of it. And I read and I liked a lot of articles, and I wrote to him, and he says, "Yeah, I'm available." And we did a podcast a few weeks back. Now, this wouldn't have been possible if there was no constancy of touch, perhaps.
Yeah,
So,
agreed.
so with you, have you had these kind of experiences of uh, serendipity is a very strong term, but say availability of technology that has allowed you to either learn or connect or grow from where you are?
So as I mentioned to you with events, I do them in Coventry. That is 80% influenced by social media. Now people see that they're going to a party and they would want to come to the same party. that that business truly relies on social media and word of mouth. There is no such thing where I can create a page and I can have no sort of engagement. It that that truly, I would say, that has benefited me full time. I would say another really good improvement with technology is our grandparents. So my nani lives in a city called Bhuj in Gujarat, and she doesn't know anything to do with a phone. So we've got her a phone which has WhatsApp in it, and she can video call us. She is 80 now. She doesn't know how to use a phone, but she's will in that generation. You see the willingness to learn for them to get in touch, because she lives with my mama in Bhuj, and my mom is in Seychelles. My masi is in Bombay. She's not going to travel there full time to go and see them. She, even though she has the most energy compared to all of us, but it just, you can't, this is the sort of advantage that connects us all. I mean, there's perks, but I would say technology has so much more advantages than the downfall.
Yeah, true. Uh, in terms of the changing mores in, so when you have this younger generation being so dependent on being connected and uh, making decisions which seem wrong to us, I don't necessarily think all of these might be wrong. If you are rebellious but you also have the talent to back it up, sometimes it may be for a good cause. uh, Yet there is this need of pausing and studying and understanding things fully. Uh, do you think there is going to be a strong need for us to, in fact, these words are being used now, switching off, so detox from social media and are terms that are being used. There are restaurants that ask you to deposit your phones before you go in for dinner. At least there was one in Australia that I read about. So, do you think these kind of things will also evolve over a period of time? Have you had any such experiences where you feel like, uh, enough, yaar, man, I've been in touch with everyone. I just want to spend this Sunday with myself and not be in touch with anyone. Just to be with myself. Not necessarily a big deal, but a simple thing. I want to go for a walk and enjoy a coffee all by myself, or enjoy the atmosphere, or go for a walk in the park or something.
Yeah, no, of course, it's truly important that you know yourself before putting yourself out there to others. Where even if it's just a standard going out to grab a coffee, walking outside in the park, should clearly do that for yourself. So much of you being yourself is much more important for you to portray your own self to someone else.
True.
Because if you are not within you, then how are you going to be this person with someone else?
Yeah. How come?
I would say I've
Please.
heard a lot of families do this, where at home they would say that on the dinner table, no phones, interactions within yourself, talk with the family, which I think everyone should implement. You should have a conversation with your family.
My question was, how come you are so sensible in the age of social media? Because even at my stage, there are days when I feel, look, man, how much time are you losing on? I have my pet wastage of time theories. I play games on Facebook or this or that, or some mindless thing, mindless scrolling. But there are days when one feels like, oh man, this is not good. One needs to get a handle on this. There are ways, like I switch my social media off for a day every week. There are days when I do this for 2 3 days. Unfortunately, because of my podcast and I have to edit the episodes, I have to share them, and so there is this constant need to. Even if I don't want feedback, at least I need to post it out there for people to know that I've. So you
Of
and I have
course.
been talking for a couple of weeks to get this happening. So the least I can do is be not be lazy and do my job and get this out there for people to benefit from why we are trying to do this.
Yeah.
So how do you not get influenced by?
I would say I don't, because of, so on Instagram there's the reel section where you go into explore and there's a reel. I do not click on that button. If I click on there, you'll just keep on scrolling. If you, I mean, there's no way you could do that, but if you will see with my friends and family, I will not share a single reel with anyone because I have not seen them. Only the only reels I've looked at is if someone sent them to me.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a very unusual disciplined approach. I didn't even know that it existed until you.
I mean, it works on me.
Yeah, it's rare. I haven't heard of it in that sense. Like people are, I know of people who do various things. They put timers on their phones. Like they want to know how much time they spend on that particular day. Uh,
Yeah.
do you also think that there is a sense of information overload, although you don't indulge in it as much as uh, a lot of us do, but you must have seen others continuously scrolling or being
Yeah.
updated about either news or irrelevant data. So, is
No,
there an information overload and how does it affect us?
no, for sure. I would say because there was one time when I got a personal trainer for gym through Instagram. It was a friend recommended, and there's so many out there. Everyone will tell you a different thing to do in your life for a certain way to lose weight or anything if you want to be healthy or not. And there's so many recipes out there. People will tell you to drink milk, some people will tell you not to drink milk, to have a vegan diet. It's just so much information. Some people will tell you to run on incline on the treadmill, some people will tell you to walk on treadmill. Sometimes you just don't know who to listen to. That it I think in that aspect I have got triggered because you just don't, because there's so many people out there training you. Everyone is telling you what to do. People are telling you what to eat, what to do to maintain a certain healthy lifestyle, and who do you listen to?
Yeah. I have a funny habit about this. So, whichever
Yeah.
reel tells me some nice exercise or something, I just save that link on my personal account on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I'm going to see this. I must have at least 40 or 50 good exercises that most of the time I have never seen again, except one or two when I have a certain pain in my neck. Okay, I'll go search for it. Oh, there was this good one which gave me the right exercise. But unless that happens, it's just information for another day. But that day has never come.
That is very true. You'll see, if just as we were talking on this gym topic, you'll see people, for example, males, females posting these six abs they have, or if you do this, you'll get this, you do that, you'll get that. But you don't know if they've edited that video, if they're actually
Wow.
that person. How are you guaranteed you'll get that if you do that?
That is an issue that I personally do not have. So my this is more to what are what are the easier and the novel options? Okay, this seems very nice. This might keep me healthy, and I like it enough that I'll do it for a couple of days. So there
Yeah.
are quite a few that I'll end up doing for a month, and then I get bored. Then I look at another reel and I see something that tickles my fancy, and again
Yeah.
I'll pick that up. So my idea is that I understand that the mind wants novelty, and so today I'll go for running in a particular manner, or I'll go for a brisk walk, or I'll sometimes I just climb the stairs of my apartment, which is like I stay in a building which has 15 stories. So you just climb that and you feel okay. It's just a change of scene more than anything else. So that is 6 hours. So I have never looked up to. Thankfully, but I understand where you're coming from in terms of it connects back to what you had said that people put up things that people want. So I want to look beautiful. I want to look handsome. I want to look like a bodybuilder or whatever. So these are the things that we are trying to project. Another question that just came to me was,
Hmm.
when we were growing up in the 1980s, if I were to call it, when I'd crossed 10 and all. So at least, yeah. So there was television. People who you looked up to were in the movies and in TV and stuff like that. In India there was a limitation of what you could watch. So there was one program, one songs program every week, one movie every week, one Marathi movie every week. So there was a certain control to things. Now, because all of us have what I read in the Road Ahead by Bill Gates then and thought of these guys are mad. They think this is going to happen. So he had projected all these things that we'll have a card, we'll have slim cards which will have all our identities and we will shoot with it wherever we'll go. The walls will speak to us and they will change according to what we want. And I was like, yeah, this is not going to happen. But it happened faster within 20, 25 years, and now even we are seeing that so much exploration of different kinds of availability to each other online in various ways. I don't necessarily mean you and me being there, but uh, there is this unnecessary pressure. So, for example, if I were, so there is one thing that I have not done is there's a lot of pressure that I go on and give gyan on videos because I've been doing this podcast week after week for last 4 5 years. There are a lot of people are you speak so well in person, you should put out videos talking, and which is something I don't like because everybody loves the sound of their voice. What's the big deal? So what you think about you that you are good, you are sensible. This I also think about myself. Doesn't really help.
Yeah.
But yet we are out there with selfie mode on and giving gyan on whatever, what to eat, what to exercise, what to wear, how to look, how to do this, or any kind of like people are losing their lives. They are doing some insane things and trying to get a reel out there.
Of course.
Do you think that is one of the flip sides of the whole thing? That why do all of us need to be on camera? That may include me or you. I don't know, except for the bonding bit that you mentioned about family and friends.
Hmm.
But I'm saying, is there a constant sense of pressure that I need to be something somewhere? Whereas why would you like when you're talking to me, what I like about this, even though this is a online thing, is that I like the way you're coming out with your answers in a very sometimes boring manner, sometimes very interesting, sometimes humorously. So there is this whole human experience that is coming out, and which is obviously due to the availability of technology that we can see each other and talk and bond over this.
Yeah.
But what is still interesting is that we are both liking what we are talking to each other.
Yeah.
So that base falling apart and we just start posturing, look at my t-shirt and we say, look at my hairstyle or this or that. So beyond the point this gets, don't you think this is unnecessary pressure?
No, I fully agree. Unnecessary. For certain people, it's just become if they have friends or not, it's just all about views. It's all about these people looking at you, giving you comments that, oh, you're beautiful or oh, you're so handsome. It's not about if you get a comment from in life, in person, where you're doing so well. It they don't matter anymore to a lot of
Yeah.
people. It just if you're doing well on social media, you're doing well in life. That's what I think is the way right now.
Wow, that's the line of the podcast. If you're doing well
I mean,
on social media, you're doing well in life.
that's what I personally think. What I've seen is because people on social media will show if they're, for example, if they're going on holidays. So obviously they've earned well enough to go on holidays. They've they've put in effort to go into a holiday. So I just think all of this matters, that how much effort you've put in, and then people want to show it. Some people show it in a way where they want to make other people jealous. Some people just post it because they want to.
Yeah.
I personally, I'll give you an example of, I never used to post pictures before. I used to be like, what is the need to post pictures? But then there was a certain time when I felt I've took so many nice pictures. Why don't you post them? Like, why don't you show them that they're so pretty, like landscapes of yourself, of the people around you? So there would be people out there, but not everyone thinks like that. Some people just want to do it for the views.
Yeah. This is very interesting. In fact, when I thought of the topic, I didn't think we would be able to slice it so well in different directions. Uh,
Sorry, I would if I ruined your agenda.
no, no, this is very nice. I like the fact that we could explore these various ways, because otherwise you get stuck on to, okay, we are constantly in touch, and then you keep saying, oh, it's good or it's bad, or then you're stuck. But here there are so many slices of the entire thing because we are questioning the process itself.
Of course. But there are so many people who are still low key. I still know a lot of people who don't like posting, but they're tremendously doing well. They don't like showing that they've gone here, they've gone there, or they don't like social media in general in a world when we're full of technology. There are all various types of people out there. We're just one
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, of course. That is something that we need to remember, because with all that we've shared on this podcast, these are just 2 points of view. A lot of people may have better wisdom than us, or they may have a different point of view on this, which is all right, obviously.
Of course.
So thank you so much. I have run out of my questions, and this was a very enjoyable podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I would request you to give me a lot more young guests from your parties if they are amiable to coming on camera and discussing these kind of issues. I think it's very important to have a voice for your generation and those uh, after you as well. Like 15 to 23 is a voice that is not being heard enough, or not being respected enough.
Yeah.
So if you know of people who are willing to come up, I would love to have them as guests and know what is their point of view on different things. Obviously, topics will be changing, but it would be interesting to see how they view the world.
Yeah. No, I will definitely. If anyone's interested, I'll get you in touch with them.
Sure. Thank you so much. I shall see
Thank
you
you.
soon. Bye.
Okay, speak to you soon. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.